the 2nd of July today. Three news stories. Ethiopian government has issued a statement about the destruction of Takaze River bridge. Secondly, just a few hours before UN Security Council session on Tigray, Russia has issued a very important statement. Thirdly, two Oromo parties, OFC and OLF, have announced the formation of a transitional government in Oromia state. Let's look at the first news story. Ethiopian government has issued an official statement about the destruction of Takaze River bridge. Yesterday, a key bridge over Takaze River, which connects Gondar zone of Amhara state with Tigray state, was demolished. And humanitarian aid supplies to Shire town of Tigray were disconnected. The road was already blocked, but now the bridge has been destroyed, so there will be no humanitarian aid supplies to Shire from Gondar via this road which links Gondar with Shire. Now both the sides are accusing each other. Who destroyed this bridge? Viewers, United Nations Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs has talked about the destruction of Takaze River bridge. UNOCHA says that its aid workers on ground confirmed that the bridge was destroyed by Amhara Special Forces. That is why since yesterday I have been naming Amhara Regional Forces, because a neutral source, UN aid workers, are saying that the bridge was demolished by Amhara Regional Forces. But Ethiopian government has rejected the statement of UNOCHA. Ethiopian government says that TPLF wants Ethiopia-Sudan border opened via Humera. And TPLF wants direct flights landing at Mekelle. That is why TPLF-backed fighters have demolished this bridge, because they want direct flights landing at Mekelle, and they want border opening through Humera. But because we will have to rely on UN aid workers who are saying the bridge has been destroyed by Amhara Special Forces. Now, the second news story. UN Security Council is expected to meet today to discuss Tigray conflict in an open session. On the 29th of June, after the fall of Mekelle, UK, US and Ireland requested an open session of UN Security Council. Today's meeting is an important meeting because Joe Biden has also called upon UN Security Council to resolve Tigray conflict and to find a way out of the famine in Tigray. So pressure is there upon UN Security Council. But just a few hours ago, before the meeting, before the start of this meeting, a Russian envoy to the UN has issued a statement. Russia says that Tigray is internal, it's domestic affair of Ethiopia. Take a listen to the statement given by Russian envoy to the UN verse.
The unilateral ceasefire that the Ethiopian government announced gives us a light glimmer of hope, because we always said that there is no solution to any crisis which in particular is waged by military means. There is no solution to this crisis by military means, only a political solution will work. How that will translate in what is happening in Ethiopia? Is it a temporary lull, or is it a road which will pave the way to the political settlement? That is a question to be addressed. You know that some of our colleagues are advocating an open briefing on the situation in Ethiopia. We most probably will have it, but I must say that indeed we always say that the Security Council is to discuss situation of international peace of security and security. And there is a question which still is yet to be answered, whether the situation in Ethiopia represents a threat to international peace and security. That depends on the angle from which you look at the situation, of course. But to a large extent, of course, it is a domestic affair. And we are, yes, we do not hide it, we are in principle opponents of discussing domestic issues on the agenda of the Security Council.
Lastly, viewers, two main political parties in Oromia region of Ethiopia have formed a transitional government, not a political alliance, a transitional government, viewers. An interesting move. Oromo Federal Congress, OFC, Oromo Liberation Front, OLF, just a few hours ago announced the establishing of ORNTG, Oromia Regional National Transitional Government. The two parties boycotted June 21st elections, in which Abiy Ahmed's Prosperity Party is expected to win. The results announced so far indicate that PP of Abiy Ahmed is expected to win, because in Oromia, PP was unopposed, because the two parties, OFC and OLF, they had boycotted these elections. Now, after these elections, the two parties have announced the formation of this ORNTG. Two parties are saying that now they are the government for a period of 3 years. The two parties will appoint a president of ORNTG who will ensure free and fair elections in the next 3 years. ORNTG will have an ORNTG council with 337 members from OLF, OFC, from religious institutions, from civil society. And this ORNTG council will be a law-making body. So it's a sort of government setup which has been announced by ORNTG in Oromia. An interesting move, because the two parties remained silent when elections were being held. They could have announced this ORNTG before election. They did not. They could have contested elections. They did not. Now they want to form a transitional government. But who will recognize this government? Will African Union, the UN, the US, any international body recognize this ORNTG? That remains to be seen, viewers. Secondly, viewers, OLA's activities has not increased considerably in Oromia. It was being expected that after the fall of Mekele and after TDF taking control of most areas in Tigray, OLA might step up its activities in Oromia. We haven't seen considerable advance from Oromo Liberation Army in western and southern and other parts of Oromia as well. OLA has been contained by Oromia regional forces, Eritrean forces, and Ethiopian National Defense Forces over the past few weeks. Especially before this election, a joint offensive was launched by federal and regional forces against OLA. Since then, OLA has not been successful in carrying out any large-scale military operations against government troops in Oromia. Now the two Oromia parties are forming a transitional government. So the situation is not very stable in Oromia. But can this transitional government make any difference? That remains to be seen. We could see an alliance between ORNTG and TPLF. I have discussed that in several previous videos, that there could be alliance between TDF and OLA and between TPLF and ORNTG. they can plan on jointly taking on Ethiopian government in coming days. I think